Hey, hi everyone! It's a huge pleasure to be able to greet you. In many occasions, when we have a web project developed, one of the necessary things to do is to publish our websites for people to access it from the internet. And that's what we will learn now, like publishing our web projects, in this case with .vvm on ASP.NET Core on Azure. Before we begin, I want to talk to you about .vvm. .vvm is a framework of ASP.NET open source that allows you to create web applications using the model view model pattern using C# and HTML. The .vvm goal is to simplify the creation of web applications through its billing controls set as grid view for table handling, text box for manage attribute data on a form, file upload for uploading files, validator control for validation of forms, and other web components. One of the things I really like about .vvm is the good integration it has with Visual Studio and how it can help you to build up web applications by just knowing about HTML and C#. One thing that also makes .vvm an amazing framework is the number of things we can do. In this particular case, let's see how to publish our application to the Azure cloud. Alright, before we get started, I will introduce you to Azure. Azure is a set of cloud services for building, deploying, and managing applications in a global network of Microsoft data centers. At Azure, we have a huge amount of resources and services for different purposes. For example, for this use of cloud computing, web and mobile application management, data analytics, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, and much more. In all these areas, we could make applications with .vvm, for example, host or web application on a virtual machine with Ubuntu or Windows Server in the cloud, create a page that allows you to recover data from a sensor within the Internet of Things era, and so we could continue to mention more examples all the day. In our case, the objective is to publish our website quickly and easy so that it can be accessed from the internet. For this goal, we need to know two Azure resources in particular. The first resource is Azure SQL Database, which allows you to work with relational databases. If suddenly you know SQL Server, in this case it's the same thing but in the cloud. And since we are talking about the cloud, in the SQL database resource we can find certain cloud features like scalability, monitoring, alerts, among others. Something very interesting too is the integration that this resource has with Visual Studio, which in a way can make our lives easier when building our applications. In this case, if our project is associated with an on-premise database, that is from our computer, it will be necessary to establish this database in the cloud. So this resource may be the one indicated for this goal. The second resource we need to know is Azure App Service, the most important one that will allow us to host our .vpn application in the cloud. Azure App Service allows you to build and host backend, front-end, and web APIs application in any programming language without managing infrastructure. One very important thing to consider is the resource is the .NET version in this case. The stable and currently version of .NET is 3.1. Currently, we won't able any problems when deploying our applications to any of the Azure regions as the deployment status is current. That is, we can build and run web applications with .NET Core 3.1 in any case of the Azure regions. Alright? Just says about it, let's look at an example. Okay, here we are inside the Azure portal. At this point, the database is already created, and what we are going to do is create an app service type resource to host our application. In this case, in the portal, we can find this resource in this section, app services, and here we can create To create the resource, we must have the Azure subscription. In this case, I have the Visual Studio Enterprise, but you can access a free subscription too, such as Azure for Students or the free subscription for the public in general. Then we need to specify the resource group, then the data of the app service instance in this section. In this case, the name of the application that we will access later. For example, we will be able to access through the name.azurewebsites.net. Here, we must specify the execution stack. In this case, it will be .NET Core 3.1. The operating system can be Windows and the region in this case. The resource plan will put it in free F1. And that's all we need to set up. Now we can proceed to review. And now we can create. Alright, here is the general section of the resource. Let's see how the page is. Okay, here we see a hello world or Azure Startup template that tells you that the resource is working properly and everything is fine. Very good. Now let's deploy our application to this resource. In this case, we have a solution in Visual Studio with a web application that allows us to handle student information. Considering the model view model pattern, here we have three projects. The first two are to type class library to handle the model, and the third is a .vvm type for construction of web pages through views and view models. Within Visual Studio, we will have to find the main project. In this case, the main project is .vvm type, this project. Here, we right-click and select the option Publish. Here we select Azure and then Azure App Service on Windows, which is the type of resource we create earlier. And here we look for that resource. If this is the case from here, we can also create the app service resource. However, I want to show you the entry process so that we can understand how to deploy a .vvm application to Azure. Alright, here we select our resource and click Finish. All we have to do is to click Publish and the process will start. Very good. Here's our final result. Our .vvm example application on ASP.NET Core is located in Azure Cloud so that any user can access it from the internet. Okay, in these minutes, we have seen how to deploy .vvm applications to Azure quickly and easy. There are many additional ways to deploy an application to Azure, for example, by using a repository on GitHub or from Git directly. In this case, here are some additional resources to further gain knowledge about ASP.NET, .vvm, and Azure. Links to these resources can be found in the video description. Okay, thank you so much for watching the video. I leave you my social networks in case you have any question or comments. What you need will be a pleasure to be able to help. So, in this way, we get to the end of the video. Once again, thank you very much and see you soon.